Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to uncover the hidden design of a pattern checker. It's a unique pattern checker which utilizes CAM memory. In fact, this technique is one of the US patent. As we have prepared many videos on CAM architecture, and I promised at the end of those videos that I will share one of the CAM application. And this pattern checker is one of the application of CAM memory. And this video is going to be really very interesting. And now without wasting much time, let us get started. Friends, on your screen you are seeing a unique pattern checker design for a device under test, and it utilizes CAM memory. As I already mentioned that this is one of the US patent, and I have given the number at the right bottom. And I will share the link of this patent also in the description section. If someone wants to go through it, they can go through it. So now let us focus on this logic diagram. This is a DUT. This is a test pattern generator which is giving input to this DUT, and in response to this input, DUT is supposed to give some output. Let us say the output of the DUT is n bits wide, and this output of DUT goes to our pattern checker design. This dashed line is our pattern checker. So at the front of the pattern checker we have a CAM memory. That means the output of the DUT goes to the content addressable memory. It holds a pattern to be checked in a very unique fashion. Friends, the most commonly used test patterns are PRBS 7, PRBS 9 and so on. And the problem with such type of patterns is they never define the starting point. We understand that PRBS 7 is a 127-bit pattern, but it never states that it starts from this particular bit. That is why instead of writing the bit, I am writing B1, B2, B3 up to B27, just to understand the concept of this pattern checker. Just to understand this unique pattern checker, let us assume that we are using PRBS 7 as a test pattern, and output of DUT is a 40-bit. Now output of DUT can start with any combination of 40 bits among these 127 bits. For example, the output may be B1 to B40, and the output of DUT can start with B3 to B42. Even output of DUT may start with B88 to B127. Even the output of DUT may start with B27 bit and so on. All the possibilities are there. So there are total 127 possibilities that the output of DUT can start. So friends, we need to feed all these 127 possibilities into the CAM memory, because DUT output is 40 bit. Each sequence of 40 bits we need to feed into the CAM memory. Friends, in this slide I have not shown you the writing interface of this content addressable memory. If anyone is interested, they must go to the CAM series of videos, and I will share their link in the description section as well as in the I-bar section. You can go through it. But here I assume that you know that how to feed, how to write this content inside the CAM memory. Here we will only discuss its comparison part, matching part. So friends, as soon as the first pattern at the output DUT is given as an input to the CAM memory, it searches where it is matching inside the CAM memory, and that particular address it will give at its output. Along with its output, which is the address, it will give one hit flag. Along with the hit flag, it also gives another flag that is called multi-hit flag. That means if the content is matching with multiple locations. But friends, for PRBS 7 and DUT width 40 bits, all the combinations are unique. So multi-hit will never happen. But yes, multi-hit can hit if your test pattern is in such a way that test pattern repeats its sequences. And this may also happen in the other case, that where DUT width is very small, 2 bits, 3 bits, then definitely multi-hit flag can hit. Now friends, when any of the address is hit, this goes to the state machine. It is very simple state machine. Now state machine which was in the idle state, it comes to know that hit happened. That means input data to the CAM memory matched with at least one of the location in the CAM memory. Friends, we will use these flags, address and hit flag, to synchronize our state machine with the incoming input test pattern. Now to double confirm this synchronization, we can check multiple cycles that hit is happening. But very important thing is address will increment by 40. If DUT width is 40, then address will increment by 40 in each subsequent cycle. That will be the confirmation that synchronization is perfect. And especially checking multiple cycles of hit flag is very useful when multi-hit flag happens or when DUT width is smaller. Okay friends, after confirming that our address and hit are synchronized with the incoming test pattern, now our state machine will be locked. And after getting locked, it will immediately disable the CAM memory. Now no further address, hit or multi-hit flag will come. Friends, after getting locked, it will apply the same address that is received from CAM memory to the RAM memory along with the read enable signal. Now what is inside the RAM memory? So the content of the RAM memory is exactly same as the content of the CAM memory. So these same sequences will be stored in the RAM memory as well. The first location will have B1 to B40, second location will have B2 to B41 and so on till B127 to B39. So this will be the part of RAM memory also. Now wherever the first hit happened, the same address will be applied to the RAM memory along with the read enable. So we will get the output of the memory. And friends, this output of the memory will match with the input applied when first hit happened. But here is some cycle of delays. For example, if data appeared at nth cycle and when RAM is giving this data at its output, the same data, that has a latency. So whatever latency is there, we need to know, the hardware designer has to know it, and we need to put that delay here as well. That means the pattern which makes CAM to hit for the first time is coming through the delay line to this comparator logic. And this part is called synchronization. That means that the data that appeared first to make CAM to give a hit flag, and BRAM is also giving the same data, and finally they are coming to the comparator logic at the same cycle. This is synchronization. Friends, at the same time, the state machine is enabling this comparator logic as well. So some delay is required here as well. That is equal to the latency of the RAM memory. So far so good. Friends, in comparator implementation, you can implement many things. For example, here I have shown the error count. Whatever inputs will not match, it will increment the error count. Here we can count the words, that means how many words are received so far. Even we can give bit count. That is depend on the designer, what all he wants to report through this comparator logic, and that is not the part of our deep discussion here. You can implement many features as a part of the comparator circuitry. Now coming to the second cycle. First cycle data is matched. Now in the second cycle, second data will reach at the input of the comparator through this delay line. Now this state machine will give address plus 40. So whatever address was applied to the memory in the first cycle, now it will apply address plus 40. Because next pattern lies at address plus 40. Now the output of the BRAM will match with the incoming data if there is no erroneous bit in the incoming data. And again, comparator logic will increment the word count, bit count, and error count will be 0 if patterns are matching. Similarly, in the third clock cycle, the state machine will give address plus 40 again. So whatever the previous address, it will increment by 40 again, and the output of memory should ideally match with the incoming pattern in case there is no error. But if there is an error, In that case, this comparator logic will increment the error count. And this keeps on happening till the time designer want to run the particular bit count. Friends, this is how this unique pattern checker logic works. And the most important and most interesting part was the synchronization of input data with the expected data. And that happened with the help of this CAM memory, content addressable memory. Friends, I tried my best to explain its functionality and I hope that all of you are able to understand it as well. If still you have any doubt, you can write it down the comment section, we can discuss it there. Friends, in this design also, there are some limitations in terms of area consumption. We can further reduce this area to the significant extent. Try to think of it. Just observe this logic very carefully and there is a scope of area reduction. You can pause my video here, try to think of it. If anything comes to your mind, you can write it down in the comment section, we can discuss it there. Otherwise, I am going to reveal that secret, how we can reduce the area further and to a significant extent. And that logic I will explain in my upcoming video. And with this, I am going to end this video. I hope that this will be quite informative for all of you. If you also like this video, please press the like button and you can share your feedback also in the comment section. And in future also we are going to create many such videos. So to be aligned with our channel, don't forget to subscribe it and press the bell icon to get the notification of all the upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching and your time.